maybe you guys can help us with this dispute we're having. I told him, just because something is truth to you doesn't mean it's truth to me. What's truth to me is whatever I perceive to be my reality. You can feel strongly as you want to about what you feel is your truth, but that don't mean I feel that way, and it may not be truth to me.
So, what is truth?
Truth?
What I mean
to
truth.
me?
Yeah. What is real? What is real
I
truth?
guess we got to pull out the Webster's dictionary to see what truth is. It's not a lie. Truth is not a lie.
It's not a lie. Okay. You're right. Truth is not a lie, and a lie is not the truth. I think that's what you said. That's not a lie. Okay. Here's the deal. A lot of people believe that Abraham is righteous, and I used to believe that too, right? And I would have taken that as truth. But something in the scriptures that I was reading about Abraham, right? Now, you know, Abraham was from Ur of Chaldea, and his father Terah eventually passed on, and it says that the Lord came to Abram and told Abram to get thee out of the country and out of his father's house, and to go into a land that I'll show you. Now, which I thought was very interesting. After these years, going back and reading that stuff, right? Make a long story short, people would look at Abraham as being the father of the faith, right? But Abraham lied about something, and it became a pattern that he lied about. But you couldn't have told me this some years ago, because I would have been, oh no, you know, oh no. You can't say that you know Abraham was just because the Bible says that, oh, Abraham was the, you know, this and he was the friend of God and so on and so on, right? And that he was a righteous man. Nah, Abraham went into Egypt, lied about his wife being his sister, to steal the wealth of Egypt, is what he did. Not only did he lie, but Sarah was lying, and they were like thieves. They were thieves.
I was trying to think of an example of why the conversation got really kind of tense. Is because, like, I can feel in my heart that 10 years from now, whatever I choose that I'm studying in, it'll be 69 in 10 years, I can see myself working, studying, and being good at something, and even at 69. And if I have to work longer than that, then I will. So I see that as my reality. So my reality is my truth, because that's what I believe. Now, if it don't happen and follow through, then it wasn't meant to be.
Okay.
So I involve God in it, and I always say that, you know, order my steps, order my words.
So like,
and then.
Okay, sorry. So like you said the other day, God, where are you? God, where are you? You know what I'm saying? Now, you believe, but you know the word believe simply means that you don't know. It's a gray area.
I believe that you're my man.
You can believe anything, but belief is not truth.
I believe that this is beet juice mixed with celery and oranges. I believe that, but it's a fact because that's what's in here.
Believe simply means that you don't know. If you look up the word belief, if you break down the etymology of the word belief, it means you really don't know. You have a feeling about something. This is beet juice. That's a fact. I don't have to believe that it's beet juice. I don't have to believe it's a beet. It's a beet. See what I'm saying? That's an absolute fact. Now you're going to turn around and say, I believe this is beet juice. Yeah, it's beet juice because you know it's beets, because you was the one that blended it up. So you don't have to believe it. You know it. Okay? So knowing and believing is two different things. They're not the same thing. For instance, you said that you believe that God gave you that job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But what happened?
Well, I couldn't physically do the job.
Well, God don't give you something that you can't do. You see what I'm saying? So
My belief was wrong. I believe that.
That's the point. That's the point, that you could believe something, but it doesn't mean that it's right. It don't mean that it's true. You just believe it.
What if I said
I believe this too?
What if I say I know God gave me the job? Then I would be wrong, because if He gave it to you, you can't lose it.
Exactly.
But what if Him giving it to me served a purpose, and it wasn't the purpose of what I thought? It served a different purpose. You never thought about that? Like, I never knew that I would have the ability to connect with children like that. I never knew that, how impactful it was to, or is to, deal with children. Even if they are privileged children, like, everybody has something that they need, well, not everybody. I would say we should be able to receive something from anybody and learn something from even if it's a child. We were just talking about my granddaughter. Like, I can receive from a child, but you're still a child. A child got to stay in its place. Stay in your place. That don't mean that God can't use you. It don't mean God can't speak through you. But you're still a child, so you're getting molded and cultivated. I'm grandma.
Well,
don't forget it.
There was a child that was 8 years old who became a king. And if you didn't obey the decree of the king, that can get you short.
Get you short.
In other words, if that king, even though he was 8 years old, he put out a decree, edict, and you don't obey it, they cutting your head off. Even though it was a child, they gave it. But you're gonna obey that order. The reason why they gave you that analogy is that, as it is said, a little child shall lead the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we get behind. You know what I'm saying? We remember John the Baptist. They said he was 8 days old and he was speaking. And they looked at it and they marveled, what manner of child is this right here? So-called Esau did the same things and stuff like that. And here he's questioning the doctors of the law. And the doctors of the law can't even answer his questions. You see what I'm saying? Because his mind was elevated already at a young age.
I think sometimes we get to taking stuff too serious sometimes. Like, I know you used to talk about, like, the difference between fact and truth, and sometimes we just too extra sometimes. We don't take all that. I don't think it takes all that. And with the etymology of this word and
yes,
the definition of this word, I said sometimes it just don't. You ain't got to do all that.
Okay.
It ain't that deep.
Yes, it's always that deep, because linguistics is always what messed us up. In order to change a people, you must change their literature. If you change their literature, you change the whole people.
So it's rose water on you. If I want him to run, it's rose. No, you ain't got to go nowhere.
So what's the?
Wait, excuse me. Why are you running from my rose water?
I'm not running from your rose water. I don't want to be sprayed in the face.
It's not rose. It's rosemary.
Rosemary, whatever.
I set some rosemary in the sun. I changed the subject for a minute. So you act like a little bit of rosemary gonna hurt you.
No, I don't.
Please get over yourself. I won't spray it right now. Just relax.
So,
what are you gonna do? You're gonna die?
You believe a certain thing, and that's how you live, because you believe a certain thing. But suppose that I don't believe it, and now because I don't believe what you believe, you gotta be attacking me because I don't believe what you believe.
You see, I like when the light change on there. Okay, so I hear people. This is another trending thing. I'm asking a question without any warning. I usually give them kind of a pre of what we're gonna talk about. If you had to choose the same mother again, would you?
Yes, I sure would. Because, you know why? Because she was the most perfect mother that I could have, for whatever purpose I was here for.
And of course I would too. And it wasn't like what you would ideally think a mother-daughter relationship should be. But that was my mother, and that's where it was supposed to be. That's where it's supposed to be.
Every seed is after its own kind.
How dare these people on here talking about, no, they wouldn't choose their mother. No, I wouldn't choose her. What are you doing?
You
Be
didn't-
careful what you're saying out there, y'all.
You didn't have no, listen,
It's just one of those if things, you know. If a frog had wings.
yeah.
You do
You're
have
gonna
wings
still,
sometimes.
you're gonna still be born. You're gonna still be born in the same line of people. Whether that woman is your mother or not, it's like we've been here before. This is not the first time we've been here. You know what I'm saying? We keep coming back because we hard headed.
And they need to be careful.
Yeah,
Talking about they wouldn't want their mother. What kind of mother you gonna be? Or you gonna be a better mother? I know. You're gonna
Or
do
better father.
everything that your mom didn't do. You're gonna do for your children. And then
I'm not
when
my
you turn
father.
around and you don't have this phone on, you might get unalived, as y'all call it.
Yeah, I'm not my father. Yes, you are. You every whit of what your father was.
Wit, every wit.
Every bit.
You
When I
said
say wit, I mean, when I say wit, I mean every drop. That's just some old language, wit, right?
Because you're old. Yeah.
So you remember I was telling you, my sons they got to do better than me, which means that in every way, whether it's in religion, whether it's in economics, whether it's in education, whatever it is, you got to do better, right? And so I expect that to happen. I expect for you to know what I don't know. And then I expect for you to come back and talk to me about what I don't know.
You expect a lot of things.
Yeah, I expect for that to happen.
I expect for you to have that $1 million that you told me you was gonna make.
You already
What's
got it.
taking you so long?
You got it.
Yeah, he told me that a long time ago, y'all, that I'm gonna make $1 million. I'm gonna have $1 million. I've been waiting on it. I think about it. I'm like, man, what that $1 million at yet, bro? 40 years now.
You see this right here? Now this is what they call black. This is true black right here.
Where's the $1 million? Where's the $1 million?
The $1 million, you have it, baby. But because of who you are, they don't want you to they don't want you to have access to it.
Oh, it's the white man's fault.
It's the system. It ain't the white man. I'm gonna tell you. See, I could go into some things. I could go into some things. I'm not gonna do that though, because it has nothing to do with the white man like that.
No, that's right, like that. There are
like
some things.
Like that.
Yeah.
There are some things. There are some things, but there are some other things.
You're too loud.
That he does not control, because when you start thinking about the nobilities around the world, those people are Johnny come lately. They the new kids on the block. They haven't been around all that long. So where did the problem come from?
The problem comes from sitting out here. It's hot.
Nah.
Okay, so
we ain't talking about that.
We're going on a little bit of time here.
I'm talking about your education, and it truly is part of your education. But some people can hide that education from us, which will produce a certain condition, right? And most people that truly are the call of the Most High, they suffer a little bit more than the average individual does, right? And a lot of time it's because of what we was taught educational. We don't have the education to get the things that we actually really need. Not that you can't get it. See, because the fact is, look, I'm 60 and I'm getting it. But why was it held away from me so long? Or was it because the direction of life I chose to go down? It wasn't so much that the education was hidden from me. It's just I chose a different path in life. This is what I want to do because I believe this is what I'm supposed to do.
So how you feel about this? When I was talking to the grandbabies, he was on another call, and they were telling me that they are at another school. They go to a different school now. And they said they like it so much better, and Isis is getting really good grades, and they just really like the school. And I'm thinking, like, how come y'all didn't tell me? And then I had to catch myself. I said to Maya, I said, your daddy and mama, they ain't got to talk to us about what decisions they make for y'all. As long as they're doing the best for y'all that they can. That's all. But I still wants to know. And they happy, too. They're happier. They like it. So it was something about that school that they didn't like. ISIS is what? Icy Cup is getting it. She said straight A's. I said, send me proof. Icy Cup. Come on. Icy. That's my grandbaby.
I have to say this because I'm thinking about my life as I progressed, at certain stages of my life, that at a certain stage of my life, my mother didn't like my choice and my religious, shall I say, my religious endeavors, if you will. She didn't like those because it was different than what she was used to, right? And so it caused a little bit of conflict because she didn't understand what I was saying. I understood perfectly what she was saying because, I watched her in that. I was raised up around that. I went to the church with her and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, at certain times in my life. But, at the point in my life, I'm like, nah, this ain't it.
There's more.
There's more to it. There's more to it than this right here.
For you, look, so see, that's what I was saying. For you, there's more. But for somebody else, that's all they needed to be at that contentness or at peace in their life.
Well,
and then it's getting too hot, so we're
yeah.
gonna end up
But see, the thing is that she believed something, but it don't mean that what she was believing was actually really real. That's why I read that from the scripture about Abraham. Abraham was a sneak, and he was a thief, just like his wife Sarai. She was a thief.
Sarai.
She wasn't Sarah all the ways, and he wasn't Abraham all the ways. At first, his name was Abram, and then her name was Sarai, and then it became Sarah.
It's all on you, bro. What about Sarah? Her name was Sarah, wasn't it? Sarah.
It was Sarai at first, and then it became Sarah later on, just like Abram became Abraham in the Bible. If you're talking about Islam, you're talking about Ibrahim, right? So on and so on. But when you say Islam, because they didn't really use the word Islam back then. They used the word Hanif. The Hanifs. There wasn't no Islam. Okay, they was known as Hanifs, right? Which means that they believe in one God. So they was doing. This is why I say the scripture says, how is it that the uncircumcised did the things that were contained in the law, not having the law? Now you have the law and you can't keep the law. The Quran says that the whole community, that humanity was one community at one time, and there was nothing that separated them or caused conflict. But when the book came, they started having conflict. But you was doing what you was supposed to be doing before the book came, but now you got the book and now you got conflict. Because now people believe rather than knowing. You believe that the book tells you this. You believe that the Bible tells you this. You believe that. But wait a minute. I thought it was the spirit that gave life. And the letter of the law is what killeth. That's what caused the problem. This stuff here. Because you believe. Or you believe something in your mind to be real and it's not really true. Like I said, I have to use the example. See, I used to believe that God gave me the job at the post office. I believed that. Okay? But after being there at a certain period of time, I'm like, nah, man. I always feel like something is after me when I'm working at the post office. Like I'm not, at first I was settled with that because I was trying to be a Christian.
A good father and a good husband.
Yeah, I was trying to be a Christian. I was trying to do these things. And so I believed, I told myself that I prayed and God gave me that job at the post office. And when I got that job at the post office, I started having problems. You know what I'm saying? And then I would question, oh God, why you would let me go through this and stuff like that. It was part of what I was becoming though. But after all the years, I realized there was no God that gave me that job. I put that in my mind, and that's what I went after. I believe, I not believe, I put it in my mind, and that's what happened. I'm going to get this job. I got the job, right? But when I actually left the job, even though it was on bad terms, I have never had the feeling that somebody, that I'm looking over my shoulder, that something bad is getting ready to happen to me now. Ever since I left there. But while I was there, for that almost 20 years, I felt that way constantly, like something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
So you created that energy.
Yeah, so, because...
That's why I always say that the spirit realm is real. You sit up there and you think about that, and you have that in the back of your mind for 10, 15, 20 years. It had to become reality at some point.
Yes. And so was that God that gave me that job? Or was it I put my mind to it, and that's what I went after? You see what I'm saying? Because we really are our own creators, if you will. So I created the situation to the point to where, hey, and one day, that job was gone. Never been back there ever since then, right? But then when I was sitting and thinking about it, I said, the day had to come, so you all of a sudden you act like you don't know that you was the one that was always thinking about something bad happening, and then when it happened, you try to act like you don't know that it's happened. Why? Yeah, why, God? Why did you let it happen? Because you created it in your own mind. If you always angry with somebody, you always got an issue or something like that because you're creating those scenarios in your own mind, and then when that happens, you acting all surprised.
So I wanted to say to them too that like I had well, every now and then it'll hit me to where I want to talk to the Gbabies. So I was telling them, so what do you think your life will be in 10 years? What do you want to do with yourself when you're 34? 32, and they had their dreams in mind too. They told me, I was like really impressed that some of them have been thinking about where they're going to be and what they're going to do. I said, and remember, you need to make their vision clear. And then Leah, the other one, she was saying that she had a plan B in case the plan 1 didn't work out. And I didn't want to say anything because it's not like I'm a millionaire, but they say the successful people say you don't need no plan B. Because plan A gonna work. See, that leaves you, that's that word if. If. Don't give it no room. Like, I know what I want for myself. I feel like I know what I want for myself. I talk to God about it. I pray. I believe. And that's all I know to do. And if it don't work, then it wasn't His will, right?
That's not true. I can't see that. I can't say that. See, we say He. Again, we're going to say
He. Yeah, we're going to keep saying He too.
For instance.
You ain't going to be changing all that now, okay? Don't start.
It says that that the Lord told Abraham. Now, when you look that word Lord up, it means existing one. It does not mean Yah. It does not mean Jehovah. That word has no name attached to it. It just means existing one. I exist. She exists. My sons exist. You see what I'm saying? My granddaughters, my grandchildren, my grandsons, they exist. My brother exists. My sister exists. My mother exists. So who are you talking about when you say the Lord? Because that could be anybody when you say existing one. You see what I'm saying? So I used to believe that it was Yah or something like that. But now I learned they playing semantics. They playing word games with us and stuff like that. So I believe in something that's not true. You see what I'm saying?
When you believe in things you don't understand,
then you'll suffer. You suffer.
That's not what Stevie said.
Yeah, you did. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you'll suffer. You're going to suffer until you stop believing that which is not real. You have to know. Knowing it. See, that word omniscient means all-knowing. God is omniscient, or omniscience means that I know. I don't believe nothing. I know. See, what do you say? Know thyself. And when you study, what do? You study yourself. And after you study yourself, what do? You study yourself some more.
You ain't got time for nobody else.
Study yourself some more.
You ain't got time.
See?
It's it's enough to work on yourself.
So you know, we know ourselves. We know what we're supposed to be doing.
I know I'm off camera, but to the young women, if you're involved in a relationship, a marriage, or any long-term relationship, you need not to be focusing so much on what the other person is doing. I'm telling you, because I've done that. You fool around and you would have spent 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years worried about what somebody else was going to do. Don't worry about that. Get yourself together. It's going to throw you behind if you do. I'm telling you. Worry about yourself. It don't mean you don't care for them and take care of them and handle their needs, but your focus should be getting yourself together. And then y'all come together.
See,
got it? Get it? Good. So I don't have to tell you no more now.
See, I do this stuff all day long. Read stuff like this right here. This is my Bible. This ain't the only one I have. I have several Qurans. I got one spelled K-O-R-A-N. I got one that's spelled Q-U-R-A-N. You know what I'm saying? So I have all these books all the time that I'm sitting around reading all the time. Because I'm dispelling.
I wanted to tell them, see if they know this song. I ain't gonna try to sing it, but it says, I know my Bible is right, but something else is wrong. Something is wrong. So you know your Bible is right, but something else is wrong.
Well, that's strange, because if the Bible is right, that means it can never be wrong. And I just read in here.
Yes, she's trying to figure out what that something is. If the Bible is right and something's wrong, then there's something got to be in you that ain't right then.
You're right. It could be your mind.
Come on.
It could be your mind.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying? But who put that in your mind that is wrong? For instance, like I said, they'll say Islam. There wasn't no Islam back then. It was known as Hanif. You see what I'm saying? Abraham, they say Abraham is the father of the faith. Well, your father of the faith, if he was Abraham, he was a liar.